Darren James Leonard James Promotions.net. Do cruise ships go through the Corinth Canal? If you're the type of person who prioritizes the ancient history and culture, getting a vacation in Corinth, Greece would be something that you want to pursue just one time in your whole life. As for you, vacation is not just relaxation and comfort but rather exploration and traveling to places you like the most. Corinth is located at the top of Peloponnese, uniting the Peloponnesian Isthmus with the Greek mainland. According to history, Corinth is one of the most significant places in Greece, and it is the place where Corinthian Canal was built, the country's most important engineering structure. Corinthian Canal is a tapered band of land that divided the Ionian and Aegean seas for further problems to occur. Today, this canal offers such a beautiful view, especially when ships are making their way through. Aside from the Corinthian Canal, you can also visit several archaeological sites that are very rich in history, such as Acrocorinth, Bimum Sacred Spring, Temple of Apollo, and Doric Temple. If you want to view some Corinth's arts and artifacts, the Corinth Museum will be the perfect place to visit. There are several art collections, stuff made up of porcelain, pottery exhibit, sculptures, and statues. Corinth is not just famous for its ancient archaeological structures and rich history. The place also has luxurious and comfortable resorts and hotels. These are the reasons why Corinth is one of the top honeymoon locations in the world. Hotels and resorts in Corinth are not as spacious, huge, and luxurious as hotels in the Caribbean or some other part of the world. But they are indeed comfortable and quiet, a perfect place for honeymooners who want to spend their time enjoying each other's company. After the wedding and all the wedding preparations, all you want is some fun and relaxation with your loving spouse, and Corinth can give you that. Olvios Hotel is one of the well-known hotels in Corinth. It has spacious and comfortable rooms and offers excellent service. A majestic view of the mountain is an added attraction the hotel can offer. Ephira Hotel is a high-quality hotel in terms of service and amenities. It is located in the center of Corinth, and all the tourist spots in the area are very accessible. The furnishings and fabrics are modern and stylish. Entertainment facilities such as mezzanine and lounge bar are also present. If you want to experience some outdoor activities while you're in Corinth, Kalamaki Beach Hotel would be happy to serve you. It has comfortable and cozy rooms and offers 24 hours room service, elevator, bar, laundry service, meeting facilities, and restaurants. Enjoy playing tennis and swimming in the outdoor pool, or just hang out in the garden if you want some peace and quiet moment. Having a Corinth vacation would be a fulfilling and fun experience. It's like going back to a certain period of time away from the stressful life of the present. There are opportunities for fun on the Greek islands holiday cruises. You have a great selection of places to visit, including the islands of Corfu, Rhodes, Mykonos, Patmos, Symi, Kefalonia, Santorini, and Zakynthos. You can also go via Turkey in this trip. You can also get some intimate trips that can help you to build up the capacity that you have in following the holiday. The smaller cruises will give you an experience that is somewhat different from the one that you would expect with the larger liners. The cheap flights can make it very easy for you to take advantage of the offers that are available on these trips. Many of the packages do not include flights to Greece. You might organize for the flights separately depending on how the process has been managed. There is something almost decadent about the Greek islands holiday cruises. You can have a 7-night deal with 960 passengers on the MS Crystal. The overnight stay at Istanbul also has some opportunities. There are some trips that take in Santorini, Mykonos, Crete, Rhodes, Ephesus, and Patmos. The departures go on a weekly basis and they run from April to October. You can also have some fortnightly departures with alternative providers, including the Three Continents cruise. This package allows you to visit Israel, Turkey, Egypt, and the Greek islands. The Jewels of the Mediterranean is another package that should be of interest to the holiday passengers. This is an 11-day arrangement on a vessel that has a capacity for 750 passengers on the MS Orient Queen. You can go through some interesting cities and historical landmarks. Apart from the usual Greek islands, you can also visit Athens, Naples, Sicily, and Genoa. The weekly departures for this package run from April right through to October. You start off in Marseille. You could also ask for the option to go through the Corinth Canal. In the fourth rank is the Egypt and Ancient Mediterranean cruise deal. This is a 13-day affair that offers affordable luxury for family. You will be traveling with the MS Lewis Spirit. There are 9 ports that you can visit along the way, including Port Said and Alexandria. The departures are from France and you visit different cities including Malta or Cyprus. For those people that have a bit more money, they can go for the luxury cruises. These sorts of cruises number 6 and they come with an exceptional complimentary service. You will pay a bit more money, but this is nothing compared to the types of surroundings that you will be in. They offer many of the amenities that one can find on the most prestigious ships in the repertoire. In order to save costs, you should ensure that you look around the internet for some of the great deals that are provided for the general public. It is generally not a good idea to just pay the first price that comes to mind. The Corinth Canal connects the Gulf of Corinth with the Saronic Gulf in the Aegean Sea. It cuts through the narrow Isthmus of Corinth and separates the Peloponnese from the Greek mainland, arguably making the peninsula an island. The canal was dug through the isthmus at sea level and has no locks. It is 6.4 kilometers, 4 miles in length and only 21.4 meters, 70 feet wide at its base, making it impassable for most modern ships. Nowadays it has little economic importance and is mainly a tourist attraction. The canal was initially proposed in classical times and a failed effort was made to build it in the 1st century AD. Construction started in 1881 but was hampered by geological and financial problems that bankrupted the original builders. It was completed in 1893 but, due to the canal's narrowness, navigational problems and periodic closures to repair landslides from its steep walls, it failed to attract the level of traffic expected by its operators. Ancient attempts. Several rulers of antiquity dreamed of digging a cutting through the isthmus. The first to propose such an undertaking was the tyrant Periander in the 7th century BC. The project was abandoned and Periander instead constructed a simpler and less costly overland portage road, named the Diokos or stone carriageway, along which ships could be towed from one side of the isthmus to the other. Periander's change of heart is attributed variously to the great expense of the project, a lack of labor, or a fear that a canal would have robbed Corinth of its dominant role as an entrepot for goods. Remnants of the Diokos still exist next to the modern canal. The Diatic Demetrius Poliorcetes 336–283 BC planned to construct a canal as a means to improve his communication lines, but dropped the plan after his surveyors, miscalculating the levels of the adjacent seas, feared heavy floods. The philosopher Apollonius of Tyana prophesied that anyone who proposed to dig a Corinthian canal would be met with illness. 3 Roman rulers considered the idea but all suffered violent deaths. The historian Suetonius writes that the Roman dictator Julius Caesar considered digging a canal through the isthmus but was assassinated before he could begin the project. Caligula, the 3rd Roman emperor, commissioned a study in 40 AD from Egyptian experts who claimed incorrectly that the Corinthian Gulf was higher than the Saronic Gulf. As a result, they concluded, if a canal were dug, the island of Aegina would be inundated. Caligula's interest in the idea got no further as he too was assassinated before making any progress. Remains of Nero's canal project. In 1881, the Emperor Nero was the first to attempt to construct the canal, personally breaking the ground with a pickaxe and removing the first basket load of soil in 67 AD, but the project was abandoned when he died shortly afterwards. The Roman workforce, consisting of 6,000 people, they started digging 40 to 50 meter wide, 130 to 160 feet trenches from both sides, while a third group at the ridge drilled deep shafts for probing the quality of the rock, which were reused in 1881 for the same purpose. According to Suetonius, the canal was dug to a distance of 4 stades, approximately 700 meters, 2,300 feet, or about a tenth of the total distance across the isthmus. A memorial of the attempt in the form of a relief of Hercules was left by Nero's workers and can still be seen in the canal cutting today. Other than this, as the modern canal follows the same course as Nero's, no remains have survived. The Greek philosopher and Roman senator Herodes Atticus is known to have considered digging a canal in the 2nd century AD, but did not get a project underway. The Venetians also considered it in 1687 after their conquest of the Peloponnese, but likewise did not initiate a project. Construction of the modern canal. The idea of a canal was revived after Greece gained formal independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1830. The Greek statesman Ioannis Kapodistrias asked a French engineer to assess the feasibility of the project but had to abandon it when its cost was assessed at 40 million gold francs, far too expensive for the newly independent country. Fresh impetus was given by the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, and the following year, the government of Prime Minister Thrasovoulos Zaimis passed a law authorizing the construction of a Corinth Canal. French entrepreneurs were put in charge, but following the bankruptcy of the French company that had attempted to dig the Panama Canal, French banks refused to lend money and the company went bankrupt as well. A fresh concession was granted to the Société Internationale du Canal Maritime de Corinth in 1881, which was commissioned to construct the canal and operate it for the next 99 years. Construction was formally inaugurated on 23 April 1882 in the presence of King George I of Greece. The company's initial capital was 30 million francs, $6 million in the money of the day, but after 8 years of work it ran out of money and a bid to issue 60,000 bonds of 500 francs each flopped when less than half of the bonds were sold. The company's head, Istvan, went bankrupt, as did the company itself and a bank that had agreed to raise additional funds for the project. Construction resumed in 1890 when the project was transferred to a Greek company, and was completed on 25 July 1893 after 11 years' work. After completion, the inauguration of the Corinth Canal 1893 by Konstantinos Valinakis. The canal experienced financial and operational difficulties after completion. The narrowness of the canal makes navigation difficult. Its high walls channel wind along its length, and the different times of the tides in the two gulfs cause strong tidal currents in the channel. For these reasons, many ship operators were unwilling to use the canal, and traffic was far below predictions. Annual traffic of just under 4 million net tons had been anticipated, but by 1906 traffic had reached only 500,000 net tons annually. By 1913 the total had risen to 1.5 million net tons, but the disruption caused by World War I resulted in a major decline in traffic. The Corinth Canal seen from the air, showing the steep limestone walls which proved vulnerable to landslides. Another persistent problem was the heavily faulted nature of the sedimentary rock in an active seismic zone through which the canal is cut. The canal's high limestone walls have been persistently unstable from the start. Although it was formally opened in July 1893, it was not opened to navigation until the following November, due to landslides. It was soon found that the wake from ships passing through the canal undermined the walls, causing further landslides. This required further expense in building retaining walls along the water's edge for more than half of the length of the canal, using 165,000 cubic meters of masonry. Between 1893 and 1940, it was closed for a total of 4 years for maintenance to stabilize the walls. In 1923 alone, 41,000 cubic meters of material fell into the canal, which took 2 years to clear out. Serious damage was caused to the canal during World War II. On 26 April 1941, during the Battle of Greece between defending British troops and the invading forces of Nazi Germany, German parachutists and glider troops attempted to capture the main bridge over the canal. The bridge was defended by the British and had been wired for demolition. The Germans surprised the defenders with a glider-borne assault in the early morning of 26 April and captured the bridge, but the British set off the charges and destroyed the structure. Other authors maintain that German pioneers cut the detonation wires, and a lucky hit by British artillery triggered the explosion. The bridge was replaced by a combined rail-road bridge built in 25 days by the IV Railway Engineer Battalion, of the Royal Italian Army's Railway Engineer Regiment. 3 years later, as German forces retreated from Greece, the canal was put out of action by German scorched earth operations. German forces used explosives to trigger landslides to block the canal, destroyed the bridges and dumped locomotives, bridge wreckage and other infrastructure into the canal to hinder repairs. The United States Army Corps of Engineers began to clear the canal in November 1947 and reopened it for shallow draft traffic by the 7th of July 1948, and for all traffic by that September. Modern use as the canal is difficult to navigate for large vessels. It is mostly used for recreational boats. A notable exception was in October 2019, when MS Bremer became the widest ship to cruise through the canal. Layout. Aerial photograph of the Corinth Canal area 2011. The canal consists of a single channel 8 meters 26 feet deep, excavated at sea level, thus requiring no locks, measuring 6,343 meters 20,810 feet long by 24.6 meters 81 feet wide at sea level and 21.3 meters 70 feet wide at the bottom. The rock walls, which rise 90 meters 300 feet above sea level, are at a near vertical 80 degrees angle. 28-29, the canal is crossed by a railway line, a road and a motorway at a height of about 45 meters 148 feet. In 1988, submersible bridges were installed at sea level at each end of the canal, by the eastern harbor of Isthmia and the western harbor of Poseidonia. Although the canal saves the 700-kilometer (430 miles) journey around the Peloponnese, it is too narrow for modern ocean freighters, as it can accommodate ships only of a width up to 17.6 meters (58 feet) and draft up to 7.3 meters (24 feet). In October 2019, with over 900 passengers on board, the 22.5 meters (74 feet) wide and 195 meters (640 feet) long Fred. Olsen cruise ship successfully traversed the canal to set a new record for longest ship to pass through the canal. Ships can pass through the canal only one convoy at a time on a one-way system. Larger ships have to be towed by tugs. 30. The canal is currently used mainly by tourist ships. Around 11,000 ships per year travel through the waterway. The Seabourn is a luxury cruise lines which takes you around the Greek islands and beyond. Their 7 days cruise takes the cruisers from Athens to Istanbul and takes them to many Greek islands en route. So their patrons can slowly study the entire Mediterranean region. They consistently revise their itinerary. They offer an intimate cruising experience with their deluxe services and small ships. The Seabourn is an elegant cruise experience. They offer combination cruises, and the title of one such 14 days cruise is the Turquoise Coast and Greek Isles plus Aegean and Adriatic Odyssey at $8,458 per person. This will be an ultimate cruise not only through the islands but the entire Mediterranean region. They stop at the Greek islands and ports of Athens, Mykonos, Patmos, Santorini and Mycenae via Nafplion. Then the cruise sails through the Corinth Canal to Delphi, and a halt at Corfu. Then this cruise will sail you to the Croatia and Turkey. All of this and their caviar in the surf program is memorable. Alonissos is one of the not-so-well-known Greek islands. The Sparides Marine Park is a marine wildlife preserve which protects the endemic monk seal. Mostly old people come to live here from Germany and Britain because the cost of living is lower and the sun is warmer. The other Greek islands close by and worth seeing are the Peristera, Scansora, and Giora. They are uninhabited by humans. People live in villages on the islands of Skiathos, Skiros, and Skopelos. The Saronic Gulf and the center of the Aegean Sea, the Cyclades, contain some of the most stunning islands in the whole of Greece. History was made here, and you find a multitude of fascinating ancient sites while leisurely sailing from island to island. Dramatic volcanic landscapes dotted by hilltop towns with the typical Cycladic whitewashed houses and windmills, crystal clear waters, authentic cuisine and atmosphere make a yacht charter here so unique and enjoyable. Let us tell you a bit more about this rich cruising ground in detail. Why is the Aegean Sea such a sought-after charter destination? The Saronic Gulf is the link between the Ionian and the Aegean Sea. It is a part of the Aegean Sea and lies at the eastern side of the Corinthian Gulf, which is a 100 kilometers long stretch of water. It contains the eastern entrance and exit point of the Corinth Canal, the city and port of Athens, and the main islands Aegina, Salamis, Poros, as well as many smaller ones. There are some amazing ancient sites like Delphi, Corinth, Mycenae, and hundreds more. A very convenient starting point for an Aegean yacht charter is Athens, with its big airport and the big marina of Kalamaki that offers a multitude of charter boats. It is situated due south of Athens. From there you can directly head to the Saronic Gulf with its interesting coastline and islands. The ideal yacht charter base for the Cyclades is Lavrion, about 37 kilometers southwest from Athens Airport. The Cyclades contain the islands of Amorgos, Anaphe, Andros, Antiparos, Delos, Eschati, Ios, Kea, Komolos, Kythnos, Milos, Mykonos, Naxos, Paros, Folagandros, Seraphos, Sifnos, Sikinos, Syros, Tinos, and Thera or Santorini, plus many more smaller ones. It simply is a vast sailing ground with endless highlights to discover. Distances between the islands are much bigger than in some of the other Mediterranean archipelagos, so it is well suited for the experienced sailor. The beauty of the islands is legendary. Delos is one of the most important ancient Greek sites. Then there is the volcanic island of Milos, or Santorini, with its huge crater and super steep cliff that constitutes one of the most famous natural attractions in the world. The largest airports are Santorini and Mykonos, which offer many charter flights in summer from most European bigger cities. Paros, Naxos, Syros, and Milos also have airports with domestic flights. The ferry links between the islands amongst each other and with the mainland are brilliant, so it's no problem to get to anywhere. As everywhere around Greece, you will find lovely authentic taverns with great local food and fresh fish, charming ports, and blue, white painted villages, as well as romantic thatch-roofed windmills. The backdrop are impressive serene landscapes, including volcanic rocky coastlines. There are almost no tides, but the sometimes occurring Meltemi winds require good sailing skills. The Saronic Gulf and the center of the Aegean Sea, the Cyclades, contain some of the most stunning islands in the whole of Greece. History was made here, and you find a multitude of fascinating ancient sites while leisurely sailing from island to island. Dramatic volcanic landscapes dotted by hilltop towns with the typical Cycladic whitewashed houses and windmills, crystal clear waters, authentic cuisine, and atmosphere make a yacht charter here so unique and enjoyable. Let us tell you a bit more about this rich cruising ground in detail. Why is the Aegean Sea such a sought-after charter destination? The Saronic Gulf is the link between the Ionian and the Aegean Sea. It is a part of the Aegean Sea and lies at the eastern side of the Corinthian Gulf, which is a 100 kilometers long stretch of water. It contains the eastern entrance and exit point of the Corinth Canal, the city and port of Athens, and the main islands Aegina, Salamis, Poros, as well as many smaller ones. There are some amazing ancient sites like Delphi, Corinth, Mycenae, and hundreds more. A very convenient starting point for an Aegean yacht charter is Athens, with its big airport and the big marina of Kalamaki that offers a multitude of charter boats. It is situated due south of Athens. From there you can directly head to the Saronic Gulf with its interesting coastline and islands. The ideal yacht charter base for the Cyclades is Lavrion, about 37 kilometers southwest from Athens Airport. The Cyclades contain the islands of Amorgos, Anaphe, Andros, Antiparos, Delos, Eschati, Ios, Kea, Komolos, Kythnos, Milos, Mykonos, Naxos, Paros, Folagandros, Seraphos, Sifnos, Sikinos, Syros, Tinos, and Thera or Santorini, plus many more smaller ones. It simply is a vast sailing ground with endless highlights to discover. Distances between the islands are much bigger than in some of the other Mediterranean archipelagos, so it is well suited for the experienced sailor. The beauty of the islands is legendary. Delos is one of the most important ancient Greek sites. Then there is the volcanic island of Milos, or Santorini, with its huge crater and super steep cliff that constitutes one of the most famous natural attractions in the world. The largest airports are Santorini and Mykonos, which offer many charter flights in summer from most European bigger cities. Paros, Naxos, Syros, and Milos also have airports with domestic flights. The ferry links between the islands amongst each other and with the mainland are brilliant, so it's no problem to get to anywhere. As everywhere around Greece, you will find lovely authentic taverns with great local food and fresh fish, charming ports and blue, white painted villages as well as romantic thatch-roofed windmills. The backdrop are impressive serene landscapes, including volcanic rocky coastlines. There are almost no tides, but the sometimes occurring Meltemi winds require good sailing skills. Darren James. LeonardJamesPromotions.net